right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the February 24th, 2026 Regina Planning Commission meeting. We acknowledge that we're on the traditional lands of the Treaty 4 territory, a treaty signed with 35 First Nations across southern Saskatchewan and parts of Alberta and Manitoba, and the original lands of the Cree, Saulteaux, Dakota, Nakota, Lakota, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. The City of Regina owes its strength and vibrancy to these lands and the diverse Indigenous people whose ancestors' footsteps have marked this territory, as well as settlers from around the world who continue to be welcomed here and call Regina home. Before we get going, I'm just gonna have Councillor Seclise let everybody know about the new equipment we have in front of us.
Okay, hi everybody. Welcome back. As you can see, there's a little green ring around my microphone. If you want to test yours out, you can press that big button in front of your machine there. Okay, and you'll notice there's a red ring now. That means you're in the queue. So the chair will have a queue that they'll work through to get to you. If you're a little bit hard of hearing and you want some help, there's plugins on both sides of the unit for a 3.5 millimeter jack, kind of a standard jack for a headset. Yeah, Maynard's got one in there in his hand right there. And there's also some smaller ones, sort of airplane size ones, the little guys. If you're really fancy, you can get a wireless connection to it just off of Amazon and then use your own AirPods if you like. I haven't tried that yet. And that's about it. Any questions? Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. So my name is Jen. I'm a council officer with the Office of the City Clerk, and I'm filling in for today's meeting for Tracy Hendricks, who's the Secretary of the Regina Planning Commission. At the first meeting of the Commission each year, the Commission appoints a chairperson and a vice chairperson. So in the absence of the chairperson or vice chairperson, I'll call the meeting to order. As this is the first meeting of the year, I'll begin by calling for nominations for chairperson. The Regina Planning Commission is a main committee of council, and as the main committee, in accordance with the procedure bylaw number 9004 and the committee bylaw, the commission member appointed as chairperson must be one of the 3 commissioners that are also city councillors. Are there any members of council on the commission that wish to put their name forward or wish to nominate a councillor commissioner? Councillor Radins. Okay. No one else? Okay. Can I have someone move the nomination? We can move the nomination. Fred. All right, by acclamation, Councillor Radins is appointed as the chairperson for 2026. Okay, so I'll ask Councillor Radins to take the chair.
All right. Well, thank you all for that support. Okay, now I will begin by calling for nominations for vice chairperson. The vice chairperson may be a member of council or a citizen member. The vice chairperson's role is to chair the meetings when the chairperson is absent from the meeting. Is there any member of the commission that wishes to put their name forward for nomination to nominate a fellow commission member as vice chairperson for 2026? Okay, please go ahead, Mr. Ashton. Okay. All right, you're putting your name forward. That's awesome. Great, thank you. Okay, so can I have someone move the nomination, please? Councillor Sickleys? Thank you. Anyone? All right. All right, by acclamation, Mr. John Ashton, you are appointed as Vice Chair for 2026. Thank you. Oh, okay. We will now move on to the formal meeting. Reports considered by the Commission at today's meeting will be considered by City Council at its meeting scheduled for March 11th, 2026. The deadline to register as a delegation for the City Council meeting is at 12 noon on Monday, March 9th, 2026. A written submission is required to be submitted by all delegations to City Council at the time of registering. Okay, confirmation of agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda at the call of the chair? Councillor Rasevich. Any opposed?
This button doesn't seem to be working. I've had it on for a while. I had a question before we started. I was trying to get your attention, but this big thing is in the way here. Two things. Are all commission members in attendance today, or is there any other commission members? And then secondly, I know we did the first time, and I found it helpful just to have the new commission members. You don't have to do it now, but the new commission members just introduce themselves and just tell us sort of a little bit of their background so we know where they came from. That I appreciated that. I don't know if you can do that now or whenever. I'm fine with that. Thank you.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. Okay, so perhaps we can do that now if you folks are all okay with that. We'll start. Councillor Rasevich, please go ahead. Oh, sorry. Well, the new members might want to know who the, returning members are, so that's okay. Okay.
Dan Rasevich, Ward 1, City Councillor, and my second year on the Planning Commission.
Good afternoon, George Sickleys, past chair of this commission. This is my second year, and my background is in insurance, pensions, and construction. So a little bit of everything that might be helpful here.
Hi, I'm Sharon Markestein. I'm new to the commission. Nice to meet everybody. I'm recently retired, but I was with the provincial government for over 30 years, and I have a master's degree in urban planning from the City of Toronto and another degree from University of Alberta in urban and regional studies. So I have a deep interest in urban planning, and now I get to do a little bit of discussion about it anyway, now that I'm retired, and give back and participate on this committee as part of giving back to the City of Regina, where I've lived since 1994. So happy to be here, happy to meet you all.
Great, thanks. Good afternoon. My name is Jordan Gaisier. I am a registered professional planner and also a registered nurse. So I guess some community health orientation is maybe my wheelhouse these days. I look forward to working with all of you. Nice to meet all of you.
Hi, everyone. My name is John Aston. I think this is about my third year on commission. We'll find out when Maynard goes, because I think we started about the same time. So it's my second appointment, or second term. I work in real estate development consulting. I'm an architectural technologist, and I have a diploma in urban land economics as well. So nice to meet the new faces. Thank you.
Hi, I am Nicole Kell, and this is still my first term on the board. And I am an interior designer, and I have an undergrad in architectural studies from Dalhousie and a master's from the Netherlands.
Thank you. I am Shobna Radins, councillor for Ward 7, and I I love this committee because I am learning a lot about our city, and the education has been great. My background is labor and anyways, other things, I guess, but we'll move on.
Good afternoon, Maynard Sontag. I'll just go with John's guesstimate on how long we've been on the commission. I thought it was a little longer than 3, but I'm not sure of that. Anyway, this is my sort of second and a half term as well. I have a varied background, but I'm assuming the reason I'm here is I managed affordable housing for the Tribal Council in the area here for the past 12 years before being appointed here. So have dealt with lots of city officials and have a fair bit of experience in that regard. So thank you very much. Always enjoy being here.
Fred Hill. I've been on the committee for 12 minutes. I have 30-year career as a professional engineer, industrial systems engineer, much of that designing, building pipelines. I've done a lot of development in communities, rolling out natural gas systems. And over the last few years, pastored a local church for 6 years, and I'm now the chaplain at the legislative building. So a little bit of a variety of a background. I chaired the Environment Committee for the Canadian Natural Gas Association. Lots of federal engagement. Yep.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. That's great. All right, so welcome everyone, and we'll move on now. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda at the call of the chair? Councillor Siklees. Anyone opposed? Okay, that is carried. Thank you. And can I have a motion for approval of the minutes from the November 13th, 2025 meeting of the commission? Commissioner Sontag, any opposition? No, that's carried. Okay, so today we have a delegation on our first item. I would like to call upon Delegation Daniel Briscoe, Troika, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Management Corporation from Kelowna, BC, and they're in person. Please introduce yourself. I'll wait till you get seated. Please introduce yourself for the record, the organization you are representing, if any, and what city or town you reside in. You will have 5 minutes to address the commission, after which you will have the opportunity to respond to any questions that members of the commission may have for you. Please go ahead.
Hi, Commission. My name is Daniel Briscoe. I'm an Associate Development Manager for Troika Management Corporation from Kelowna, BC. I'm here with my Senior Development Manager, Brad Clifton. We're representing Rosewood Park, and yeah, we're happy to speak to you today. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. I want to thank City staff for their recommendation of approval and for the collaborative efforts this winter to align the next phase of growth at Rosewood Park neighborhood. At Troika, our mission is to build sustainable, complete communities that enhance quality of life and create long-term value for residents and the city. We are committed to ensuring the next phase of this community advances holistically as our team brings key neighborhood solutions alongside much-needed housing to Northwest Regina. Momentum at Rosewood over the last 12 months has increased tremendously, matching market demands in Regina. 132 rental units will complete this summer beside the Alliance Church, and 238 additional homes will break ground in the coming months, finishing our Phase 1. Approval of this application will establish appropriate zoning to facilitate a range of housing options in alignment with the approved Rosewood Park Concept Plan and governing bylaws and policies. There are no variances proposed in this application. The concept plan calls for low and medium density residential and flex areas. Our RL and RU zones allow for exactly that, low-rise, semi-detached, and townhome housing. The LA overlay permits additional front attached and townhome housing. The LA overlay permits additional front attached garages on Walsh Avenue, a highly desired product for Regina buyers. The public service zone allows the transfer of the temporary storm pond at the entrance of the subdivision to its ultimate location, facilitating permanent stormwater management for the neighborhood. Our priority is collaboration and solution-focused engagement with all stakeholders as we advance the development. Our team met with the principals and vice principals of St. Nicholas and Plainsview schools in January to discuss traffic concerns and student safety during drop-off and pickup. We discussed the implementation of the secondary access road south of the school field, and both schools welcomed the additional connection to Courtney Street. This second access will mitigate bottlenecks on Mapleford, improve bus circulation, and redirect Phase 2 construction traffic away from the schools. We will also install a perimeter fence around the MR2 school field for added student safety. At the Mapleford and Courtney intersection, we are adding pedestrian infrastructure, including wheelchair ramps, sidewalks, crosswalks, and pedestrian signals. On January 20th, we held a public information meeting. Over 40 residents attended, and more than 125 completed our online survey. Feedback centered on traffic safety, school access, infrastructure capacity, construction impacts, building density, parking, and protection of green space. The second access distributes vehicle trips, improves emergency preparedness for the community, and enhances school circulation. An updated traffic study by WSP last fall confirmed the upgrade improves the performance of Courtney and Mapleford intersection by reducing vehicle load. Phase 2 encourages walkability to both schools and transit. Transit is available 1 block from the subdivision entrance, and the school playground and field remain a neighborhood gathering place for young families. In short, this zoning amendment sets the stage for a cohesive, balanced, and future-ready neighborhood, combining ownership and rental housing, efficient land use, and a strong sense of place. We appreciate, again, the city's partnership in this process and respectfully ask the Commission to support staff's recommendation for approval. Thank you for your time, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Do any commission members have questions for the delegation? Councillor Siklees, go ahead.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. Hey, Daniel, Brad. Thank you for that. You mentioned the term flex in there, and I thought maybe for the people that are watching on AccessNow TV, actually when you started talking, the number of people watching doubled. So there's 6 people watching right now. Could you just explain a little bit of what flex means to you as a constructor?
Flex area 1, and I'm referencing the concept plan right now. It's very, very broad. So residential, recreational, institutional, commercial, or mixed-use buildings. So essentially in those, if you reference the concept plan, those pink areas, we can basically go for a very varied amount of zoning. So we're going today for RL, which is just a residential low-rise zone.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, I do not see anyone else. Thank you for addressing the commission today, and I'll ask you to return to the gallery, please. We will now consider item RPC 26-1, zoning bylaw amendment, 1400 North Courtney Street. I will ask Zoe Drimmy from Planning and Development Services to please introduce the report. Sorry, Ms. Bryden.
Thank you through the chair. So since the board went through an introduction, I thought this would be a great opportunity to perhaps introduce some of the key players the board will see on a regular basis. So my name is Deborah Bryden. I'm the Deputy City Manager for City Planning and Community Services, and I'll probably be here for most of these meetings. And I would like to, I'll move to my left, and let staff introduce themselves as well, and then to my right as well, please.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name's Autumn Dawson. I'm the Director of Planning and Development Services. So our department brings most of the applications forward to Planning Commission, and you'll be seeing a lot of the reports that we have the privilege of bringing forward and working with our community on.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ben Mario, manager of the City Planning Branch, and we are the branch who is responsible for a large majority of the reports that you'll be seeing. So you'll be seeing a lot of me and my staff. I'll pass it on to Zoe.
Hi, everyone. I'm Zoe Drimmy. I'm a city planner too, and I review a lot of the reports that are come to RPC. And I can introduce now, if that works. Thank you, Ms. Chair and members.
Hang on, we're gonna get the
Oh,
other.
sorry.
two.
Went to.
Good afternoon. I'm Diana Burton. I'm the Director of Recreation and Cultural Services. You won't see me as often as you see Autumn and her team here, but we will be here occasionally.
Hello, I'm Janine Deardich. I'm the Manager of Planning and Partnerships in the Recreation and Cultural Services Department, and you will typically see me here related to park naming, which is what we are here today for.
And
hello, I'm Cheryl Willoughby. I'm the Senior Legal Counsel for the city, and I give advice in the background on planning applications to the planning department, and I appear at all of the commission meetings to give advice when necessary to the commission. I try to avoid speaking as much as possible.
Hi, I'm Chad Bosgood. I'm a senior engineer within our Servicing and Infrastructure Approval branch. My team and I are responsible for reviewing any of the technical submissions relating to servicing, so water, sewer, or stormwater, as well as anything transportation related. So I'll be here on occasion to answer any questions relating to the technical aspects of any of the reports brought to council.
thank you all, and thank you for that there, Ms. Bryden. I apologize. And so we're gonna move on with the report, please.
Perfect. My time now, right? Correct. Thank you, Ms. Chair and members of Planning Commission. This item addresses an application to rezone 1400 North Courtney Street, the subject property, to PS Public Service Zone, RL Residential Low-Rise Zone, and RU Residential Urban Zone with an LA Lane Access Overlay on 2 blocks. City Council's approval is required for all zoning bylaw amendments. If approved, the rezoning would allow the developer to pursue residential development at the subject property. The intent of the PS zone is to accommodate the relocated stormwater management facility. The subject property is located within the Rosewood Park neighborhood and is currently vacant. Through the review period, it was determined that a secondary access is required. This is being planned for south of the park behind the school and will be managed and implemented through the associated servicing agreement process and is not a recommendation to council through this rezoning application. Public notification was carried out in accordance with the City of Regina's public notice bylaw and is summarized in Appendix B. Considering these factors and the benefits to the neighborhood, administration's recommendation is for approval. Thank you, and administration is available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Can I get someone to move the recommendation, please? Anyone? Commissioner Aston, thank you. Okay, would you like to speak to the report? Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the presentation. I have a couple of questions. So what I'm assuming is in the package that we have, the map on Appendix C is the proposed zoning. It's outlined the area is outlined in red. I don't see where the PS zone is. Can you explain to me which part of the rezoning area is the PS zone? Through the chair.
Who's going to take that? Mr. Mario, go ahead.
Through the chair, there appears to be an error. The PS zone would be applied to future parcel MU1, so we'll get that corrected before City Council.
So just through the chair, just to clarify, that's not RL, it would be PS.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Second question, and what I heard when the report was presented may mean this isn't a question I can ask, but it's presented later in the information that there's a new road which is being proposed. My interpretation is that road's across private land, but I'm taking that it's not part of this application. But my question was simply if all of the results of that being on private land were considered in the legal implications and all of that, that's going to council. I guess, was it thoroughly considered, and is that the best way forward versus a dedicated route that would be public land? Through the chair.
Yeah, through the chair. So ultimately, Wayland Drive will be the dedicated public route. It will have frontage on both sides, and that's what was contemplated within the concept plan and within the neighborhood plan. So really what this interim road will do is it will relieve traffic congestion. So it's really not intended to be permanent. If it were intended to be permanent, then absolutely we would look to dedicate that and have it built with service connections underneath and all of that. So our intent right now is for it to essentially be a bridge in time, and also to provide that traffic relief. And I don't know if Chad Bosgood has anything further to add, but the servicing agreements would cover any sort of legal implications about having public access on private land. So maybe I'll...
Mr. Bosgood.
Yeah, I guess anything regarding any legal implications or otherwise will be covered off within the service agreement when that is executed, because the roadway, its construction, its turnover to the city, and otherwise will all be done as part of the service agreement. So, yeah, there was no anticipation for zoning this land or dedicating its right of way in the interim. It'll, as Ben said, be removed at some time in the future and further relocated to Wayland when the development to the south goes ahead. But in the interim, it'll just exist on the private land.
Okay, one more question through the chair. Just to finish off that thought, is there so it'll be publicly maintained, the city will be maintaining it in that interim period while it's being used, and not privately maintained? Just confirm that through the chair.
Through the chair, that's the intent, yes, and that'll be covered in the servicing agreement and easement requirements that will cover that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any questions from commission members on the report? Go ahead, Mr. Hill.
Thanks. This is just because I'm the new guy and I know you can't use that very long. I would like some help to understand the lane access overlay proposal and how that changes from what the plan would have been originally.
Who'd like to take that? Mr. Mario, go ahead.
It's hard to see the green from my vantage point, so I get used to it. Yeah, so the zoning bylaw requires as a rule that when there is a lane, then there would be no ability to have front access to the front of the property. The laneway access overlay overrides that, so it allows for either to occur essentially. So when we apply that, we're essentially saying, yes, it's okay to allow in this situation for the front of properties to be accessed by vehicles and therefore to be front yard driveways and garages and so forth. So we review those on a case-by-case basis to make sure that the fronting street is appropriate for it, and that we've considered whether or not it's in the city's best interests to allow for front access. Where we're not applying it in this case is Mapleford Boulevard, and that's because it is a collector road, which will be busier, and we want to maintain that for street parking, pedestrian connectivity, and overall just streetscape aesthetics. So we're applying those on a case-by-case basis depending on the street and what's around it.
Okay, so then my understanding in this, it would only apply to the Walsh Avenue properties.
That's correct.
Okay.
Notwithstanding the corner properties as well. We're not applying it on those corner properties, as you can see in Appendix C.
Okay, so does this mean that there would not be a lane and only street access, or there would be both?
Through the chair, there will be a lane, but there would also be street access on the properties fronting Walsh.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, seeing no more questions. Mover, would you like to close debate? Mr. Aston. Okay. I get the clerk to please start the vote.
Okay, I'll start with Commissioner Aston.
In favor.
Sorry, Commissioner Gassier. Sorry if I say it wrong.
That's fine. I'm used to it. I'm also in favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Markestein.
In favor?
Thank you. Councillor Saklis.
In favor.
Councillor Rasevich.
In favor.
Okay. Commissioner Kell.
In favor.
Thank you. Commissioner Sontag. Oh, sorry.
Oop. In favor.
And Commissioner Hill.
In favor.
And Councillor Radins.
In favor. So now moving on. Hey, how about I turn that on? Wow, that's loud. We have delegation on the our next item. I would like to call upon Kathy Lawrence from Terra Developments, Regina. Please introduce yourself for the record, the organization you are representing, if any, and what city or town you reside in. You will have 5 minutes to address the commission, after which you will have the opportunity to respond to any questions that members of commission may have for you. Please.
Good afternoon, Commission. I am Kathy Lawrence, President of Terra Developments. We are a Regina-based business, and I also live here. So Terra has been the land development manager for the town south since around 2016, and we are here today representing the City of Regina Land Branch as the applicant of our PC 26-2. I just want to start by noting that the primary infrastructure supporting the school site is already in place. Aaron's Road is built and open. Terra completed it as part of our Phase 2-7 development last year in 2025. So the underground services were installed at that time and are currently stubbed to the proposed school property line. Today we are asking for the zoning that allows for this critical community infrastructure to move forward. The site itself is ideal. It fronts Aaron's Road, exactly what the city policy calls for, and will be flanked by Greenstone Road on the west. Excuse me. So Greenstone Road will be constructed as part of the school development, including an interim turnaround until the broader Towns North neighborhood builds out. The Regina School Board, Regina Catholic School Board, and Ministry of Education all support this application. This policy is compliant, rezoning with infrastructure already built in the ground and full stakeholder alignment. So we respectfully ask for approval today. Any questions? Happy to answer.
Thank you for your presentation. Do any members of the commission have questions for the delegation? I'm sorry, I can't, I'm not, it's logged out. Okay, so Commissioner Hill? Yeah. Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Yeah, I like the presentation. The material in here was helpful. Just for my background on this one, were there other locations that were considered in here, and why is this one versus other places that were considered?
Excuse me, through the chair, that will be a question to ask administration. It wasn't part of the selection committee side.
Can I ask that question of our administration then?
Okay, so who would like to take, well, okay, so we have to, wait, yeah, we'll wait until after. Thank you. Any other questions for the delegates from commissions? All right, seeing none, thank you for addressing the commission. I will ask you to return to the gallery, please. Thank you. We will now consider item RPC 26-2 zoning bylaw amendment 2401 Woodland Grove Drive. I will ask Tyson Sellinger from Planning and Development Services to please introduce the report.
Yeah, thank you, Chair and members of RPC. I guess I should introduce myself since I'm a little late to the party here. Tyson Sellinger, City Planner 1. Work closely with everyone at this table. Live in Regina, grew up here all my life, and I'm excited to bring you this report. This item addresses an application to rezone a portion of 2401 Woodland Grove Drive from urban holding to institutional. City Council approval is required on all zoning bylaw amendments, as there's a bylaw component. If approved, the institutional zone will allow the development of a joint-use elementary school. The City of Regina has worked collaboratively with the Regina School Boards and the Ministry of Education to choose an appropriate school site to accommodate a new elementary school. This location in Southeast Regina will address existing capacity issues in this area of the city. Public notification was carried out in accordance with the city's public notice bylaw, which is summarized in Appendix B. Administration's review included the public feedback, applicable policy and regulations, and the unique factors associated with the location. Therefore, administration's recommendation is approval. Thank you, and we can answer any of your questions.
Thank you for the report. Can I get someone to move the recommendation, please? Commissioner Sontag, would you like to speak to the report? Okay. Any questions from commission members on the report? Oh, look at all the lights. Okie dokie. Okay, Councillor Rasovich, let's start with you.
Through the chair, I guess. So I think I heard, so the infrastructure is already in place to build the school? Is it already there? Is that what I thought I heard?
Okay, so who would like to answer that? Mr. Mario, please go ahead.
Through the chair, the infrastructure on Aaron's Road is already installed, so that's what that reference was for. There will be a street that's constructed, pardon me, on the west side of the school as well, so that would be added.
Oh, okay.
But otherwise, the underground infrastructure is already installed.
Okay. And I guess just around the school, I guess, is there, I don't know if you can talk to it, but I guess urban holding all around. I'm just kind of curious, what are the plans of development around there with urban holding?
Through the chair, development of that area would eventually be for residential, and it would be in a slightly later phase of the pending growth plan. So we won't expect any development to occur within this area until wastewater infrastructure is upgraded on a citywide basis. So that will be the case for the interim until neighborhood gets built around.
Okay, so the school would go up first, potentially first before any other developments like housing and anything around because of wastewater, right?
That's correct.
Capacity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Rasevich. I see Commissioner Gaisier. You're next.
Thank you. Through the chair, I have 4 questions for Cheryl. No, I'm just kidding. No, I have one, and I don't know. Sometimes I'm out to lunch on these little details, so if I get this wrong, please bear with me. And also, it's a detail that isn't maybe the most important thing, but just to make sure I know what I'm doing. If we go to our report on page 30 of 35 in the PDF, so 5th from the back, there's a little Appendix C discussing the difference between the urban holding versus the institutional zone. On the standards, is that a max lot area or a minimum lot area for a new development?
Who would like to, Mr. Mario?
Chair, through the chair, that's a minimum lot area.
Okay, all right, thank you. That makes more sense with what I was expecting, so I don't, it's not a big deal. I just wanted to make sure I knew what we were getting into. And I guess this is sort of a follow-up with Mr. Rasevich. So if I understand correctly, we're waiting on some citywide upgrades to infrastructure before we look at the development of the new area. But I guess we can bank on the upgraded wastewater not being required to accommodate the schools as they go in, like they've already been accounted for in that. Okay. And so is administration confident that the schools will be built with whatever phasing or accommodation is necessary to either increase in size or scope as that neighborhood is built out, if it's going to be some time that between the school starting building with existing wastewater capacity and then to Councillor Rasevich's point, increasing in development with time, or is this school simply to accommodate the kids that live there and will live in that neighborhood going forward? Thank you.
Ms. Dawson?
Yeah, thank you through the chair. So the development of school sites and the development of schools is a collaborative process between the city and the Ministry of Education, as well as the school boards. And the city's role in that is to assist with designating land for the school sites. The ministry and the school boards manage the boundaries and the populations and what they expect in terms of enrollment. And we work closely with them in terms of what we have for population data, but it is a collaborative process. Ultimately, we don't put in requests for new schools. That's done through the school boards to the Ministry of Education, and we respond or collaborate through rezoning land.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Sickles.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. I don't know who to address this to, so take your pick. I've been getting some feedback with respect to traffic, possible future traffic issues, in particular to houses fronting schools. Existing schools that have a lot of houses fronting them are a bit of a problem. from what I can tell from the feedback I've been receiving. Has it been looked at resident concerns on school fronting homes? Are there any data on safety or property values? Or could we pilot some guidelines for some setbacks or buffers if that's the case?
Okay, Ms. Dawson?
Thank you for the question, through you, Madam Chair. So yes, as school sizes increase with the introduction of the joint use schools into existing neighborhoods, it became evident that traffic and circulation and patterns in terms of development around schools was becoming an issue. And so we've had constant conversations about what that might look like in terms of our growth. Last year, around this time, I think we brought forward, amendments to the OCP in terms of school siting design guidelines, how we wanted to see development occur in and around school sites. So we've been looking at this very closely and monitoring it. So I guess in short, the answer is yes, we're aware of it, and yes, we're working on it, and yes, we're responding to it.
Well, that'll make the people who've reached out to me pretty happy to hear, because there's lots of time before the next streets around that particular school are done. So thank you very much for that.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Markenstein?
Am I on? Okay, thanks. So are the design guidelines in development now, or are they just being proposed sometime in the future for schools and safety, safety planning for traffic and things like that?
All right, who's going to take that?
I can take that. Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the question. We've made some changes as of last year in terms of the development in and around school sites, and tried to manage it that way. We also have different programs through the city in terms of Vision Zero and Complete Streets that we're constantly working on to try to improve safety on city streets, and particularly around school sites. So it's kind of being worked on a multi-pronged approach. So yes, some things have been adjusted, but other things are also in the works.
So there will be specific criteria, perhaps, for ensuring safety for children, such as pathways to avoid children crossing traffic, things like that. Or is that part of the guidelines, and things like bicycle paths as well, like pedestrians as well as bike paths?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, we do have policies and guidelines that would ensure that those safety mechanisms are in place, and we can look at them at the subdivision design stage, but also throughout the lifespan of the site as well. So our traffic team are constantly looking whether there's improvements needed, there's pedestrian lights needed, those types of things within existing school sites.
If I just may make a comment, I'm just happy to see that a lot of planning is done in advance for the school site, because I think in the past that may have been an issue in some neighborhoods. So I'm really happy to see that. Just wondering sort of when roughly is expected that the school will be built?
Who wants to take that one?
Through you, Madam Chair. Because we don't manage that process, I don't want to speak on behalf of the school boards or this ministry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Hill, you're up next. Please go ahead.
Thanks. Sorry for jumping in early before. I'm learning process really quickly. So my primary question was this the primary site that was investigated? Were there others? Why did this one win out over other locations?
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. When it was identified that an additional elementary school was needed in the southeast, we wanted to make sure that it was in a location that was easily servicing bare land is expensive, and we also wanted to make sure that it was connected and integrated with the existing community as much as possible, knowing that a site within the existing town's south development wasn't available. We looked for the next best option. So we did this in collaboration with the school boards and with the ministries to try to make sure that not only were we using efficient use of services, but that it was going to work for all parties.
Okay. The site that is proposed right now is also being used as sort of the topsoil and dirt storage site for what looks like the development that's taking place. I know you don't want to speak about development timing, but if timing proceeds relatively soon, there'll be a fair amount of work associated with cleaning the site up even to make it usable. Where does that cost come to prepare that site for development?
Yeah.
Who winds up being responsible for that?
Through you, Madam Chair. So this question would have been for the delegation. It is city-owned land, and so the city is working collaboratively with the ministry on that preparation for the site.
So that would wind up being a city expense?
There's
Or it's a
there's a collaborative
shared.
approach. Yeah.
Okay. Is that site also being used, this is me getting technical, is it also being used for snow storage? No?
Not that I'm aware of. Thank you.
Okay, no, I'm glad that cleans up a couple of other questions that I have. Development timeline was one, that's been answered. So the development on Aaron's Road, there is, and I can barely read it, the green, what's the road there? Green Stone Road. Will there be the development of a road on the east side of that property as well, where the power line exists now?
Through you, Madam Chair. So for the school site itself, they'll have access through Aaron's Road, and then there'll be an additional road on the west side of the school site. And then future road alignment, the intention is to have further road construction as the neighborhood develops to the north.
To the north or on the east?
There will be one on the north too. The concept plan hasn't been approved yet, so we don't have definitive answers, but the intention would be to have additional roads surrounding the school site.
Okay, yeah, just my encouragement, given the activity on Aaron's, which is large and will get larger, is I would hope to see access to that school not off of Aaron's. That it would come in, their access to the school front would be off of one of those side streets. I don't know where that information gets to at what point, but.
Yes, through the chair. We understand that and we acknowledge that as well.
Okay, thanks.
Good, thank you. Commissioner Aston.
Oh yeah, I just have a couple of questions, and some have been touched on a bit, but okay. What is the lot size for the school? Is it known through the chair?
I believe it's 13 acres.
Thank you. The site is, in the report, it says there is no concept plan in place. There is the Southeast Neighborhood Plan, I believe, which is maybe a higher level plan. Does it give some direction on future road network? I'm somewhat asking the same question as Commissioner Hill did, but through the chair, if you could have an answer on that.
Who's taking that?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, just high level. We would wait for concept plan and then further through subdivision design to verify exact locations of roads.
Okay. Sort of in that same vein, like Aaron's Road is a significant road at this point and probably the busiest in that little area there. We've kind of just came through a previous delegation here today that's putting in a second road because the school has some traffic issues and has had for quite a while. Is there lessons that were taken away from that school to apply to this one? Looks like we're kind of doing the same thing through the chair.
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, we've taken a look at our best possible options, and this is what was decided upon by the school boards and the ministries and us, understanding that ideally you'd have neighborhood development occur at the same time as a school site, but this has multiple access points from the south, the east, and the west. along Aaron's roads. It's not like you're stuck in the neighborhood like you are in the other example that you provided.
Okay. Not sure I read that site plan quite the same, so I'll defer to your comment there. There is, I believe, a future plan for high school and a significant park in this area. Can that be elaborated on? Is it at all in association with this school or anywhere near that site through the chair?
Through Madam Chair, the neighborhood plan does call for high school. We know that there's an additional high school being explored, and it is not part of this application, and we don't have further details to provide to Commission today.
Okay. Final comment. So, and this is, I'll pose it as a question somehow at the end, but a number of years ago, I was driving my young son up on Courtney, and the school, Rosewood School, was just built, and he said to me, and he was probably in elementary school at the time, he said, "Dad, why is there a school in the middle of that field?" And I said, "Well, that's a good question, son." I drive by in Harbor Landing and kind of see the same thing going on to the west there, and then I see this one, and I think that's kind of 3 times in a row with new schools. We've done the same thing. Is there, and this is where I'll give administration a chance to editorialize, please. Is there improvements to the process that could be made that would make the schools know where the roads are going to be, where services are coming from, kind of in alignment with development where kids could walk to this school? I assume this will be a joint use school similar to others. I think the numbers are like huge, like 800 kids or something. I could be corrected on that. 1,400, sorry. Maybe planned for 800, I don't know. But like there's significant infrastructure, and we're kind of 3 times in a row putting them on the edge of in a field. And I just, I would hope that traffic planning, road planning, and neighborhoods would be done with those aspects in mind. So does administration have a suggestion for, and I realize it's not just city planning, this is, you got Ministry of Education and others involved, but is there a way to do this better? And is there efforts to move that forward through the chair?
Ms. Dawson?
Yeah, I think it's a fair comment. It's certainly not ideal to have disconnected from growing neighborhoods, but sometimes when the population grows or there's not alternatives, you do the best with what you have, and we've tried to do that for this particular site. A lot of careful thought and collaboration has been put into trying to make this work the best that it can, picking a site that is well connected and making sure that there are opportunities for children to walk to the school and have it as interconnected with the existing community as possible. We've been working very closely with the ministry as well as the school boards on population data, trying to predict population growth, making sure that we're ahead of when new schools are needed so that it also is aligned with our growth plan. Providing education on where our city is growing and how it's growing is something that we've continued to put efforts towards. There's collaboration between senior leadership at the city as well as school boards and talking about how improvements can be made in terms of the process. And as you might be aware, the province just came out with new legislation about building schools faster, and that's collaboration between the parties again to try to figure out how that works the best. So yes, a lot of attention has been put into school siting, school builds, and how we make this work for our community.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Hill?
Thanks. I'm probably out of line. This is more of a question of process than it is of this particular project, but in Appendix B, where we're talking about communication, trying to get community feedback, here we've got a school site that is in open field at this point, and the mail-out questionnaire goes to a 75-meter radius, is my understanding. There's pretty much empty housing within a 75-meter radius. Is there something else that we should be doing to get feedback from the broader community about what's taking place in their backyard?
Who's going to take that? Go ahead, Mr. Mario.
Through the chair, I would maybe just start with an overview of our typical process. So the public notice policy bylaw guides and requires what the minimums are required to do for any sort of rezoning application. So we are required to mail to surrounding properties within at least 75 meters, and that's what we've done. In this case, that ends up being about 91 properties. We're required to post a public notice signage, which has usually an image of the property and a direct link to the city's website if people want more information. We also find in these areas that there's just a lot of sort of organic notification that goes along in this day and age. A lot of new areas specifically are well connected by Facebook. So oftentimes what we find is people will get something in their mail, post it on the website, on their Facebook site, and then we end up getting a lot more public communications that way. So we put the message out there with all the facts, and we accept any public feedback that comes back. In addition to that, if it is a more controversial application, then we do reach out in ways that are beyond the minimums. We may go to a public open house to have direct communications with the residents if they choose to show up. And in addition to that, we may choose to circulate to further distances, which we often do beyond the minimum. So in this case, we found that that was an appropriate way to do this project. There was also media beyond the application, so there was already a fair bit of notice surrounding this outside of our process.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Hill. I have Councillor Siklees. Please go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. Through this feedback that Commissioner Hill was asking about, are you saying there was more feedback than just the one response?
Who would like to take
through
that?
other channels? Am I looking at the wrong one? I'm at Appendix B. There was one supporting of the proposal. That's the only feedback we got.
Through the chair, I am looking at page 29 of the agenda of 35.
Okay.
So we had...
I think I'm at the wrong one.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. 8.
That's right.
And so would 8 of 90 be a typical response?
Through the chair,
10%?
it's difficult to say what's typical. Sometimes we get a lot of feedback when we expect none, and sometimes we get none when we expect a lot. So
yeah,
like I said, I think people knew that this was coming and they want it to happen. Their overall concern largely is school capacity in the area. So for the most part, we understand that this is a welcome thing.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah. So the gents from Troika and I were speaking beforehand, and we were talking about something that they see in BC and that the two of us have probably seen in Ontario, where schools actually have a place to drive in, pick up and drop off on their property. And those places have much higher property values than we do. And before you tell me, talk to Minister Henley, have you talked to them about this? And is that something that we would promote as a city to see? That is the safest approach, is to have a driveway into the school, wouldn't you think? Why aren't we doing that, where land is much cheaper than Ontario and BC?
Yeah, through the chair, I would agree that that could be a solution. I would say it does take up land. It does sort of eat into what their other requirements are. But ultimately, we look at the impacts on surrounding areas through traffic impact assessment and determine if there are any concerns. And if there are, then it comes into a negotiation around what some solutions are. So that could be one of them.
And it's the province that's footing the majority of the bill anyway. So they have final say on how they use their land, I suppose.
Through the chair, largely true.
Yeah, okay. And just to help Commissioner Hill out when he asked, when you told him that there's a collaborative process about the schools, can you maybe give him a heads up on I think it's $3 million the city invested in the new Harbour Landing School. That was our portion. So as you can imagine, that's pretty small compared to the total cost of building the school. And there were some special circumstances there that caused us to spend that money, if I'm remembering correctly. Right?
Ms. Dawson, is that you taking that?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. Yeah, so the city works in terms of trying to secure the land. There's ongoing conversations given the new legislation in terms of the collaborative process and what that might look like. So I guess stay tuned.
Okay. And one last piece, and I'll leave you alone. And believe it or not, I'm going to talk about bike paths. I think there should be links all across the city to be able to get on a path with your family, by yourself, whatever, walk, ride, whatever it is, summer, winter. And it doesn't take up a lot of land to do that. I haven't seen any new developments since before I became councillor that actually really do that. I mean, I see bike lanes that end up going nowhere, but I don't see bike paths linking us. Wouldn't it be great if you can get on a bike and just go all around the city? Why isn't that indicated on these plans? Is there somewhere else you're planning to see this happen in and around this particular development?
Like to take that?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. We're dealing with such a small portion within the neighborhood here. It's really not the opportunity to talk about connectivity. We do that at the time of neighborhood plan and concept plan, making sure that there's connectivity through the neighborhood, through different modes of transportation. We do that with our partners in Parks, Rec and Culture, as well as with our transportation team, to make sure that there's multiple modes of transportation for folks, right?
How many paths have we built in the last 5 years?
Through you, Madam Chair, I would have to take that back. I don't have that here in front of me today. In the last 5 years, how many kilometers of path have we built? I would have to get back to you on that. I don't know. For this application in particular, we certainly are aware of connectivity and making sure that children are able to get into the site safely.
Yeah, and it's a little bit off topic because you said there's going to be parks and other things coming. So hopefully we'll see some paths going through there and somehow a plan to link them all together around the city. I think that would be, pushing for the livable city that we keep saying we want to have.
Ms. Bryden, I see your hand. Go ahead.
Thank you. Through the chair. Thank you very much for that question, Councillor. So I think certainly in our new communities, we're seeing pathways built throughout the plans, as Ms. Dawson indicated, and more of the struggle is the existing community where that roadway infrastructure is already in place.
Yeah.
And so building that crosstown pathway or that connection is certainly more difficult. The city has to acquire land, etc. So I know that we've been working on a crosstown pathway. The budget was deferred certainly this year for the capital portion of that. I also recognize that we're working on the SAS Drive project, so that corridor will have a multimodal pathway system along that entire corridor, which is a big part of that connector as well. So it's certainly something the city is very aware of, trying to make us a more accessible, mobile community for all multimodal transportation. It is difficult through an existing infrastructure area, but we are certainly aware of that, and we are working on that. Thank you.
That's why I asked the question, because this will be existing in the future, and I don't see anything here. But you say that there's parks around it, so that's our opportunity when that comes to us.
Through the chair, that's correct.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I see Commissioner Gaisier. Sorry. Oh, please go ahead, Mr.
I can also provide some additional context in how it relates to the towns. So Phase 2.7 includes a multi-use pathway. So on the north side of Aaron's Road, directly in front of the school, there's a 3-meter pathway that's being built all the way from Woodlands Grove Drive I don't remember where it terminates, but I believe it's the entirety of Aaron's Road. That'll hook up to other network bike pathways and networks that we have in the towns, whether it be along the drainage canal or Chuka Boulevard or other areas, as well as Woodland Grove Drive. So there is multi-use pathways built in this area, and there will be one specifically for the school that'll help both pedestrians walking or biking or other modes of transportation get to the site safely. As part of the TIA, we will also be looking at pedestrian crossing requirements regarding overhead signalization, signage, or otherwise to make sure that the crossings along that pathway system or connecting to other pedestrian infrastructure like just regular sidewalks and local roadways also exist to allow for safety and just access to and from the neighborhood to the school.
Councillor Sickles.
Thank you. Through the chair. Thanks for that. That was good. I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. When I refer to paths, I'm not referring to competing with cars. Those are lanes. Are we talking the same language there?
Yes, it's a 3-meter asphalt pathway that's fully separated from the roadway, that's separated back from the sidewalk 2 or 3 meters fully on the boulevard space.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in here because I do have a question regarding the connectivity. So back to the question, do we know how much we've built in the last little bit? I do, for pathways, for connectivity. Have we don't have the numbers still. Okay.
Thank you. Through the chair, I do not have that at my fingertips.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are at Commissioner Gase here. I know I saw it.
Excellent, thank you. So this first will give me an opportunity to refresh a rule that this commission has a history of having trouble with. In addition to asking administration questions, we can also have discussion during this time, right? These are the same times, is that correct? Okay, so as a discussion point, we'll give administration a break. A friendly welcome to Commissioner Hill. I encourage you to keep asking those questions. That's great. And when it comes to public feedback, I know I hope that it doesn't come off that I find it less important. But I guess one of the considerations that I have is that one of the benefits of the neighborhood development following the school is that when people decide where they're going to live when they move, they'll have that information kind of at their fingertips, and they'll know what the school looks like, and they'll know how Councillor Seacliss's turn-ins look or don't look, depending on what we can get the ministry to dole out for. So I agree that there is a little bit of a tightrope act between trying to guess what neighbors might want in the future when they're not there yet, and also accommodating the existing feedback. But in this particular case, I guess it's just good to be mindful that in addition to the obvious drawbacks of not having that information, there's also some benefits to it. As a friendly consideration, please don't take that as a slap down to not ask that question in the future. It's the important question to ask. And then for maybe the consideration of anyone who might be interested, I'm really glad that we're asking the questions about connectivity. I think that's the right way to start asking those questions. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the commission figuring out the right time to ask the questions so that we can make sure that those impacts are going forward. Maybe the way that I will contribute is by asking administration, you can pay attention now, so I know that we have had in the past some minimum requirements for bicycles, bicycle parking in developments, but I also know that the province has a pretty big ability to ignore us if they want to. Will there be specific types of requirements or considerations for bicycle parking at this school site so that when we build our 3-meter paths to get there, the kids will have a place to park the bike at school. Thank you.
Mr. Mario, go ahead.
Through the chair, yep, that would be managed through the zoning bylaw, which requires a certain amount of bicycle stalls, depending on the land use. So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So saving the myself for last here. I do have some question regarding the assessment piece that we talk about, the OCP, and there's a lot of references here. And so I guess I tried to pull up the OCP and align it with the reference. And so I was a little confused maybe, and maybe I was looking at the wrong thing. I'm just wondering for future reference, like, so the language that's in here, is that what, okay, so under assessment, we're saying per section E, policy 14.40 of the OCP Part A, proposed rezoning has been reviewed from the perspective of the OCP conformity. And then we go down to the Southeast Regina Neighborhood Plan OCP Part B of Part B 16. And so is this language that's here covering the policy or that is in the OCP? And so it's on page 25 of 35.
Through you, Madam Chair, I can start, and then if anybody wants to come in, they can. So when it references Part A, it's the general policies within the OCP.
Okay.
And in the OCP itself, there's general policies in terms of what particular land use compatibility should look like, what transportation network should look like, and what other community services should be within a neighborhood, schools being one of them. So then Part B of the OCP is specific to particular neighborhoods. And in this case, we're referencing the Southeast Neighborhood Plan, which forms part of the OCP, but has its own specific neighborhood plan appended to. And so we were pulling out specific points within the neighborhood plan in which this application was hitting on. And then further down in that assessment section, we reference the school siting requirements that are aligned in the OCP, and that's where we talk about fronting on a collector road and being flanked by 2 streets, which this meets, and then being surrounded by an appropriate mix of land use. So to the south is still in the proximity of the school, and then also noting that there will be future neighborhood growth to the north. So that's what that section is identifying, is that it does meet the criteria within our OCP. And this is the policies that sort of provide support for the application.
Okay, that's fair. I think for myself, maybe, and I don't know if anyone else, just so that we can have that picture on the report. I don't know if the references are great, but I did try to look it up on the OCP, the live document that we're talking about online, and I just, maybe it's me, maybe it's a user, I don't know. So yeah, it just didn't line up with what you're saying here.
Yeah, and thank you through the chair. This section is not as typically as comprehensive as what we're showing here, but there was a lot of policies that were supporting the school site, and we just wanted to reference them for your benefit.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I don't see any more lights lit up here. So would the mover, Commissioner Sontag, would you like to close debate?
I'll close the debate. I have nothing else to say. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask the clerk to start the vote, please.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Markestein? Sorry. Okay. Councillor Rasevich?
In favor.
Thank you. Councillor Siklis?
In favor.
Commissioner Gazier?
In favor.
Thank you. Commissioner Aston?
In favor?
Thank you. Commissioner Kell?
In favor.
Thank you. And Commissioner Sontag?
In favor.
Thank you. Commissioner Hill?
In favor.
And Councillor Radins?
In favor.
Thank you. So the motion is carried unanimously.
Okay, we have, moving on to our next delegation and final one. I would like to call upon Delegation Diana Hrolick. I apologize, Diana, from DREAM. Please introduce yourself for the record, the organization you're representing, if any, and what city you reside or town you reside in. You will have 5 minutes to address the commission, after which we will have the opportunity, or you'll have the opportunity to respond to any questions that members of the commission may have for you. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I'm Diana Howerluck. I work for DREAM. I'm the General Manager of Land, and I live here in the city of Regina. I'm really here to answer questions, but I'll just note that we had put forth the name Thimbleberry because our one pocket park that we have is a small little park. It's only 1 acre in size. And so we thought it was a very fitting name for a smaller park. It's going to be a very unique park because it's going to be the first park that actually has housing fronting the park. And so it's going to be a very unique product, first of its kind in Regina, and 18 lots. So we're really excited about that. And for the rest of we have one other major park that's planned for the area. And we'll be putting an Indigenous name forward for that. We thought this was an Indigenous name, and then we're told later it was not. But then most of our our street names have been, we're going to be exceeding the Indigenous names through that policy. So I just thought I would mention that for the whole of Coopertown.
All right. Can I have someone move the recommendation, please? Commissioner Gacy, sorry. Oh, sorry, questions, sorry. I apologize. Okay. Does anyone have questions for the delegation? No. Commissioner Gacy, did you have any questions? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Commissioner Markenstein, please go ahead.
Yes, I just wondered, has there been any consideration to planting a thimbleberry plant there? So when we have areas with a name and it has meaning, that the residents could actually visit it and get really excited about learning more about the particular plant, thimbleberry being the example in this situation. And maybe a little sign even, with a description about why it's there.
Yep.
And I just wondered.
Yep, to you, Madam Chairman. Yep, that's exactly it. We are trying to source the thimbleberries. It is something that's native as in the report that you'll find. So we are trying to source that. And as we do our landscaping plans, that's definitely going to be part of it. As part of the park naming and the signage, we will have some information regarding that. And we're even looking at how we can incorporate the thimbleberry symbol into the park somewhere, whether it be in stamped concrete but that's what would work with the Parks Department as we work through all those details. But definitely we want to capitalize on the name and the actual plant itself.
Okay, so I see no more questions here. All right, so thank you, Diana, for presenting. And she's already returning to the gallery. Okay. Okay, so we will now consider the item RPC 26-3, Park Naming, Coopertown, MR1. I will ask Janine Daradich, Manager of Planning and Partnership, to please introduce the report.
Thank you, Chair and RPC members. As you heard from Ms. Harlock, Dream Developments is moving forward with the first phase of development in Coopertown. They have requested the name Thimbleberry, which is derived from a native prairie plant for the park. Administration is recommending approval of this name to be assigned to parcel MR1, which is the first park in the development. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Can I have someone move the recommendation, please? Whoa, Commissioner Gaisier, I'm going to practice that. All right, would you like to speak to the report?
So I guess first I'm getting so persnickety today. I guess it's a good sign for the details when you're in there. So just bear with me. In the report, the way that the recommendation is laid out is it's recommended that the Regina Planning Commission recommends to council. But if I understand correctly, we don't actually need to do that. We have the authority to just move it. Here I think we can rename parks.
I believe our authority is different that way. I'm not sure what it is. The way it's written.
Can I refer that to our city solicitor there, Cheryl? Go ahead.
Sorry, Cheryl.
Thanks. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer. We'd have to review the terms of reference of the committee, but my recollection is it does have to go to council.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll take it then. I just remember that we were joking about how we could have slipped in a renaming of a certain lake to a certain gulf last year when it would have sort of been kind of funny. So it's fine. It's fine. But it doesn't matter. I have no, this is a great name. I'm all in favor of it, and was more just lusting for power. So I was going to see about that. But in the meantime, if recommending it to council is the way to go, that's fine by me.
Gaisier. I got it. Okay, so we have about a couple of minutes before our mandatory break. And so since this is the last item on, I am wondering if we could press forward. Can I get a motion to skip the break? Commissioner Gaisier will thank you. And is there anyone opposed to that? All right, that's carried. We're moving on. All right, so I have up next that's Commissioner Sontag.
That was actually exactly my question. I asked that question during our training session, and I was told specifically we are an advisory body, except when it comes to naming or renaming. That's the authority that we have. So I'm completely on the same side as Commissioner Jordan there, but I'd be curious to know what the answer is.
So
anyway, that's it.
I think I am also curious to know the answer. It was Autumn. Was she part of our training last year? I think she was. Anyway, can we come back with a response on that? Okay. Sorry, hang on. So the clerk has something for us here.
Sorry, I don't have an answer, but I could come back with an answer. Like, if you guys aren't worried about getting it now, as it looks like all of my colleagues have gone home for the night, but I could get it to you tomorrow via email if that works. But if you'd like it today, I can make some phone calls if we take a quick break.
No, that's okay. How about maybe, sorry? Okay, so our city solicitor has something for us. Please go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah, thank you. So it would appear that it is maybe just an oversight in the report, because the commission is correct. The commission does, pursuant to the committee bylaw, have delegated authority to approve policy and guidelines. Sorry, not the actual names. So maybe I've misread this. The section reads that the commission is delegated the authority from council to interpret and approve the policy and guidelines for names of streets, city facilities, and parks. So the policy itself is separate from the actual application of the name.
Okay, so can you just repeat that? Like, so I just zoned out for one moment, and I apologize.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have taken the mandatory break, but can you?
So the commission has the authority to make policy with respect to how the names are chosen. So that policy exists and has been applied, and now the name is coming forward for ultimately council approval.
Gotcha. Good try.
Yeah, good try.
It's a good try. Good try. Okay, so I have Commissioner, thank you for that. Commissioner Hill, please go ahead.
Yeah, so my first point is, no, we don't have the authority to name the streets. My second is a more important question. In the area of Coopertown that is identified for this park, I know it's only an acre, which is relatively small for a park, but when you look at the overlay map, that is a wetland right now. Like it's a field, like it's a wheat field. But that is the wet spot on that land. And so I wonder if there's been consideration given to using that as a detention pond area as well, which is often a good use of a park.
Who's taking that one? Okay, Ms. Bryden, please go ahead.
Thank you. Through the chair, actually, Ms. Diridich will take that one.
Ms. Diridich, go ahead.
Through the chair, we have been working with Dream Developments on their future parks that will be located within Coopertown. It's my understanding that MR1 may have some minor storm detention, but there will be a main gateway park, which most of the stormwater will be redirected to once that's developed.
Okay, the concern is that that is a wet area. And so then to manage that water, once we've got housing around, it's going to be difficult. Yeah.
Through the chair, I understand this probably would have been a good question for the delegation, but stormwater studies are all part of their planning for development. And as I said, a lot of the stormwater management will be redirected to that large storm pond that will form part of the main gateway park.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Oh gosh, who was the mover? Was I Gaisier? Thank you. Okay. So, would you like to close debate?
I'll close debate. I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Clerk, can you start the vote, please?
Yes. Councillor Rasevich?
In favor.
Councillor Siklees?
In favor.
Commissioner Markestein?
In favor?
Commissioner Aston? Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead.
In favor.
Hey, Commissioner Gazier?
In favor?
Thank you. Commissioner Kell?
In favor.
Councillor Raddins?
In favor.
And Commissioner Sontag?
In favor.
And Commissioner Hill?
In favor.
Thank you. The motion passes unanimously.
Excellent work, folks. And I'd like to thank Jen for, first time doing that. Good job. And thank you all for being here today. I'd like to have a motion to adjourn. Councillor Siklees. Anyone opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Have a great evening, everyone.